Why is a sublease agreement important? A sublease agreement is a crucial legal document for facilitating a commercial subleasing arrangement, as it not only protects rights associated with the leased premises and establishes the responsibilities of all parties involved in subletting, being the original tenant, sublessor, the new tenant, sublessee, and the landlord, but it also tends to be essential to undertaking a well-conceived commercial sublease. It is imperative that commercial tenants and subtenants understand both the primary legal aspects associated with subleasing, together with the contractual terms, prerequisites, and restrictions contained in the controlling lease agreement when looking to undertake the subleasing of a portion of the leased premises, especially given the adverse consequences that can result from not having a properly executed sublease agreement that has not been definitively approved by the landlord. A. Importance of sublease agreement for the original tenant, sublessor. Financial protection. The sublease agreement serves to outline the sublessee's responsibility for rent payments, utilities, and other charges. This is vital because in most cases, the original tenant remains financially responsible for the original lease even if the subleasee doesn't pay. A written agreement helps the sublessor pursue payment if issues arise. Liability for damages. The sublease agreement specifies who is responsible for any damages caused to the leased premises by the sublessee. Without this, the original tenant would be solely liable to the landlord. Clear expectations. The agreement sets out the terms of the sublease, including the duration, rent amount, payment due dates, and any rules or restrictions. This prevents misunderstandings and potential disputes. Legal standing. The sublease agreement provides a legally binding document that can be used to enforce the terms of the sublease if the sublessee violates them. This can be crucial for evicting a problematic sublessee or recovering unpaid rent or damages. Landlord consent. Most primary lease agreements require the landlord's written consent for subletting. The sublease agreement often includes a section for the landlord's approval, demonstrating that the process is being handled legally and transparently. B. Importance of a sublease agreement for the subtenant, sublessee. Defined rights and responsibilities. The sublease agreement clearly states the sublessee's rights to occupy the leased premises and their obligations, such as paying rent and adhering to property rules. Understanding the terms. The sublease agreement ensures the sublessee understands the full scope of their tenancy, including the rent amount, the length of the sublease, and any specific conditions from the original lease that applies to them. Protection from original tenant issues. While the sublessee's rights are generally tied to the original tenant's lease, a well-drafted sublease can provide some protection, such as what happens if the original tenant defaults on the rent to the landlord. C. Importance of a sublease agreement for the landlord. Awareness and control. While the landlord isn't usually a direct party to the sublease agreement, their consent is almost always required. This allows the landlord to vet the sublessee and ensure they meet their standards for tenants. Property protection. Knowing who is occupying their property, even indirectly, allows the landlord to have a better understanding of who is responsible for its upkeep and to address any potential issues. Maintains original lease. The sublease reinforces the original tenant remains fully responsible for the original lease. This means the landlord still has recourse against their primary tenant for any breaches, regardless of the sublease. With over 25 years of commercial lease legal experience, we understand what to be looking for in a commercial sublease agreement and what is intended by the cryptic legal writings forming part of these intricate legal documents. This allows your business to attain solid legal advice, which is cost effective, as it draws upon a wealth of knowledge from having read and reviewed far too many commercial lease agreements and sublease agreements and having provided legal advice thereon. For businesses looking for experienced legal review, analysis, and drafting of commercial leases and subleases, together with other corporate commercial legal matters, contact our law firm to put such legal knowledge to work for your business. Thank you.